What's the one moment that changed everything without warning? It was a Tuesday afternoon, the kind where nothing special is supposed to happen. I was working from home, half listening to a Zoom call while folding laundry. My partner, Jess, had left earlier that morning, saying they were going to a quick lunch meeting with a client. Kissed me on the forehead like always, keys jingling, coffee in hand, smile effortless. Around 2 p.m., I realized they hadn't texted back since leaving. I wasn't worried. Jess was terrible at checking their phone when busy. But a weird urge made me open our shared calendar. We both used it to keep track of meetings, appointments, everything. It was part of our unspoken rule, transparency. That's when I saw it, a calendar event titled simply, J from 12:30 to 2 o'clock p.m. The location was a cafe on the other side of town. It wasn't unusual on the surface, but it didn't look like a client meeting either. I don't know what possessed me to check. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was the way Jess had seemed distant the past few weeks, always on edge, distracted. So I got in my car and drove. The cafe was small, tucked behind a row of shops with ivy climbing the windows. I parked across the street and waited. And then I saw them, Jess and a woman I didn't recognize, sitting side by side at a table by the window. Jess was leaning in, laughing, brushing her hand over the woman's wrist in a way that wasn't client behavior. It was tender. Familiar, intimate. I watched for 5 full minutes, long enough to see Jess kiss her on the cheek as they stood to leave, long enough to know this wasn't the first time. I didn't confront them, not right away. I drove back home and sat on the couch, staring at the laundry still unfolded. Everything looked exactly the same, but nothing felt the same. It was like the colors in the room had dimmed, like the house had exhaled and told me the truth I had been ignoring. Just got home, they acted normal, asked what I wanted for dinner. I asked how the meeting went. They paused just for a second, but it was enough. I saw it in their eyes, guilt, fear, that silent plea not to dig any deeper. I told them I knew, about the cafe, about the woman, about Jay. Silence. Jess sat down, head in their hands. No denial, no excuses, just the heavy, suffocating truth hanging between us. They said it had just happened, that they didn't plan it, that they were confused. I listened, not because I wanted to understand, but because I needed to hear the lie one more time to believe it had ever been real. At night, I slept in the guest room, not out of anger, but to create distance between who we were and what we had become. The next morning, I packed a bag and left before they woke up. I haven't looked back. It's strange how one moment, just a glance through a cafe window, can undo years of memories. But that's the thing about moments, they don't wait for permission. They don't knock politely. They just come in, tear everything apart, and leave you standing in the rubble.